Now, boys and girls, I'm going to give you a piece of cardstock, and this is how you're going to make your sweater. First of all, you want to put your slab on top. Make sure that you draw around how big your slab is. You don't want it to be too thin and too big, so stop when it's the thickness of a pancake. The next thing you're going to do is we're going to fold our paper in half. Okay. And then in this circle, this is how big I have to make my sweater. I am going to look at a couple different designs for sweaters right here. And if you look at this sheet, okay, there are a bunch of different designs that you can come up with, but we're just gonna draw half of it. So if I'm gonna draw this sweater right here, I'm gonna imagine half of it. So I'm gonna start with a V and then go down, up, down, and around. If you do not feel comfortable making a sweater on your own, you're more than welcome to borrow one of my templates. So I'm gonna go down for the V. I'm gonna follow the shoulder down. Your sleeve is almost as long as the bottom. I don't wanna go too far over because I wanna make sure I have room for the body. So right around where the shoulder starts to curve, this is where I'm gonna make my armpit. I'm gonna curve it in and then connect for the sleeve. Check this out. If you drew it on the folded side, then you should have a symmetrical sweater here. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna go down, over, up, and I'm staying on the line because, watch this. Now I have a sweater, but then look at this. I also have the cutout of a sweater, so this could also be a template. Either one works. Once you have your sweater drawn, we're gonna put it on our slab and using either a clay knife or I have some toothpicks. These work great too. I'll show you how to do both. You wanna hold it straight up and down, not on an angle. And we're gonna follow the edge of our sweater, keep it in place, and you could just cut off the excess. Go around, in and up. Okay, keeping it in place. Here's how you use your clay knife. Gonna go around. Either one works. Okay, I'm gonna peel all this away. And there is my sweater design. Okay, my extra clay I'm just gonna kind of put to the side. Now, what I wanna do is I don't want there to be these hard edges that you see because when they fire it, they'll be really hard. So I'm gonna take a little bit of water in my slip container and I'm just going to rub my finger along the edge of my clay so that it's rounded and not hard. Boys and girls, you do gotta be very careful. You do not want your clay sleeves to break off. They should be about as thick as your finger. Okay, I'm gonna go up and over, and I'm just gonna massage those edges. You don't want lots and lots of water. You wanna rub the clay until the shine goes away. Okay, that is good. Now, this is where we get to have some fun. Now you're gonna get to customize your sweater to be any pattern that you want. Remember, a pattern is line or shape that repeats over and over and over. So what I'm gonna do with my little sweater here is I have all kinds of things I can use to make pattern. Inside of this container here, you'll see there are different tools, there are different materials, but I also have an assortment of textured objects. I have a doily, which is pretty cool. I have some seashells. This could be cool for texture and imprinting, or you can of course make up your own. Let me show you how we're gonna do this. So I'm gonna show you first how to use some of the materials that are in your clay tools bin. So maybe you wanna use a part of a comb. Taking my comb, I'm gonna press down, down. Now I wanna think about my pattern. So if I just go randomly all over, that's not a pattern. I'm gonna skip a couple spaces and again, make this cool texture with my comb going across. I'm gonna make sure I do my sleeves. Don't wanna forget that, be very careful. When these slabs dry, they're going to be very, very fragile, so I have to be extra careful now. Okay, I'm gonna go around. Awesome, all right. Something else maybe I wanna try is I could use a loop tool or a paper clip, and pressing just the side in, I can make a pattern. Looks like little U's. That's a cool way to make texture. If I don't like my texture, if it's not too deep, I can also go back over and smear it in, okay? If you want to add some clay back to your sweater, you can do that. I could take the clay that I have here, maybe I wanna roll a coil. So I'm gonna go this long, pinch it off, okay? Make sure it's not too small and too skinny. You can roll a coil this way. Now, the only way you can attach two pieces of clay is by doing scoring and slipping, all right? And there's a couple different ways you can do this. I'm gonna take an old toothbrush first, and I'm gonna dip it in my slip. Not too much water, wipe off the extra. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to score and slip. So it's scratching it up, but I'm also adding that runny water clay, and that's called slip. Okay, I'm gonna just add this on, pinch off the extra. There we go. I'm gonna do the same thing going up. You guys, you have so many options for your sweater. I hope that you enjoy this awesome process. When you're done, we're gonna put it on a plate. We're gonna write our name in a Sharpie, pick up our sweater very carefully, and let it dry. Have fun. Boys and girls, today we are going to make a sweater inspired by Mr. Rogers. We all know that Mr. Rogers is most famous for wearing a different colored sweater in all of his episodes. Did you know that his mother actually was the one who knitted all of his sweaters? Pretty cool stuff. So today we're gonna start with a block of clay, and we're gonna turn this block of clay into a slab. And here's how we're going to do it. You're gonna take your block of clay and you are just going to throw it on the table. Ready? I'm gonna pick it up, do it again, pick it up, oopsies, pick it up, and just keep hitting it, turning it and hitting it until it starts to get flat. Be careful, the table can be a little bit sticky, so you wanna peel it up very slowly. And then once we get it to be a good pancake, we're gonna take our fist and we're gonna pound it down. Again, you don't want to, oopsies, sorry. You do not want to keep pounding on the same side too often because it will stick to the table. Let me just double check. I have these mats here. Let's see if this works a little bit better. Okay, so we want to pound out our clay so it's about as thick as a pancake, not thinner than that. That is the perfect amount. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this slab into a sweater.